Hello, my name is Amy if you're brand new here, and welcome to another Q&A video. The first question is by Fashionika. I've seen quite a lot of girls making my luxury handbag collection videos, and one of them showed over 80 handbags. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but how do you personally see your collection in terms of expanding, and how many bags is a good number to have? I love this question, and I think I know who you're talking about, or at least I think we saw the same person. In fact, I think there's at least two of them out there that I follow personally that have over 80 handbags in their collection, and they're all really nice bags. And you're completely right, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's their lives and it's their money, and to be very honest, if I had their collection, I would be super happy as well. But you know what, it's to each their own, and everybody has a different life, and everybody also is in different stages of their lives, and everybody have different means, different friends, they come from different backgrounds. For me, I've always said that I like to keep my collection on the smaller side, and when I mean small, in the past a good number was around 10 or 12. Because that's how many bags I had at the time. I think when I started my channel, and I think when I first made my collection video, I had maybe 8 bags, I think, or could be less, I don't even remember, and that's including the small SLGs that are not officially considered bags. But now my collection has evolved, and you guys have also seen my latest reveal video where I added 2 more Chanel bags. So my collection is definitely still growing and evolving. Not necessarily in terms of numbers, because you guys know that I let go of handbags, or I try to sell them, or I either try to sell them or give them away depending on the handbag, when I find myself no longer reaching for them. Probably in the 20 mark is a good number. I think I don't even have 20 bags right now yet. I think I might have, I'll try to count it later, but I think I have around 18 at the moment, because I think when I did my collection video I had 16, I think. So with the 2 extra ones, the 2 new ones, I have 18, I think. That's not including my just casual handbag collection. So that's just my luxury handbag collection. So I hope that this answers your question, and to be very honest, everybody is different. Some people never sell their handbags, and that's why they also accumulate a large number over time. I'm not someone like that, not only because it doesn't make sense financially, but also because I really don't have the space to store all that, and if I'm not going to reach for it anyway, I don't see the point of still owning it. I think someone else can really enjoy it, and you know, it has a lot to do with just keeping the things that really sparks joy, if you guys know what I mean. Moving on to the next question by Jade Light's Words. Do you have a list of things that you do during your due diligence process for buying pre-loved? Where do you go for a re-authentication? I did a collab video with my friend Natalie recently, and we talked about our own experiences about buying a pre-loved versus buying retail. I don't really have a list of what I actually do for due diligence in terms of research. I think what I really mean when I said that is you have to be comfortable with what you're doing. I would have done so much research, so watching videos, reading forums, reading about it, asking friends, whatnot. I would have found out everything about the bag as much as possible. So that's number 1. The number 2 diligence is I'll look up this seller. Of course, if it's a consignment company, then you want to read up on the shipping, on the return shipping, on return policy, how many days, whether there's exceptions if it's an international sale and whatnot. All those things, all the terms, basically you have to read it and you have to know it inside out. It's not enough to just ask a friend in those cases, because it might be different for you. You might be located somewhere else, or there might be an exception. So those are the things that you cannot be lazy at. Thirdly, you just have to acquaint yourself with the ways of protecting yourself as a buyer, as well as a seller if you try to sell, actually. But now we're talking about buying pre-love. So as a buyer, there are multiple layers to protect yourself. You can use PayPal. PayPal, you know, gives you protection as a buyer as long as you follow certain rules. Again, I'm not going to reiterate all the rules. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, I think it's your responsibility to read the terms and it's all there. Just log into your PayPal account. It's different per country, so whatever is applicable in Canada is different in the US, and it doesn't make sense for me to tell you what they are because they are different. So you just have to read it, and you cannot be lazy at it. And the thing is, if you're not ready to do all it takes to achieve that, to buy that pre-loved bag, then you shouldn't be buying it. That's my point. My point is, unless you really know what you're doing, you should not buy pre-loved, because you just never know. It's all the steps that you're willing to take to the point where you're almost pretty much confident that you're getting the real deal, you're buying from a legitimate seller and all that, and you have enough knowledge about the handbag, knowing that you're most likely going to keep it, especially if you don't want to go through the return process. Sometimes it's just not that easy, especially if you're buying internationally. Those are the things that I'm talking about. You just have to feel so confident about your purchase that you feel like you did your due diligence, and if something still happens, then at least you're protected. And that's what I mean by doing due diligence. So I hope that this makes sense. In terms of re-authentication, there are so many out there. I also mentioned her in the same video, so I'm not really sure why some of you still missed it, but I'll reiterate. I chose her just because she's the only one that I know about, and she has authenticated a couple of my bags, and I find her really nice and responsive. You just have to email her. You can also find her on Instagram. The next question is by Coffee Makeup 24. If you've had to repurchase your entire Chanel collection at the current pricing, which bags and SLGs would you add in which order and why? I think you mean retail price, so at the retail store, not pre-loved. This is what I would choose. I would choose the mini flap, so whether square or rectangle. I'll probably go with rectangle with a pop of color. The second bag I'll probably go after is the Gabrielle bag in the exact same combination that I have currently, the black one with the small size. The third bag that I'll go after is probably a coco handle in the mini size, so in the same size that I just got recently. For that one, it's tough because it really just depends on the collection. If there's a pretty color, I'll probably get it in a color. If not, I'll just get it in black. And fourth, I would probably go after a medium large classic flap, and no SLGs, because I don't know if you know, but I don't actually own any Chanel SLGs. At one point I did purchase a few of them, but they never stayed in my collection. They always just left my collection very quickly, brand new in fact, because I just noticed that I don't really like them. And I think it's not because they're not pretty, I just like the roughness and the durability of LV SLGs and non-branded SLGs. I just prefer them, and in fact I don't have that many. I don't really use that many. I chose a mini flap because I feel that in my entire collection, the mini flap is definitely one of the most versatile. I find that it really doesn't matter whether you look super well put together or whether you look like a bum. It just goes so well either way. And it's also one of the bags that I travel the best with because of its compact size, and it's really easy to either just wear it in addition to the handbag that you carry when you travel, or you just stuff it inside your carry-on. And I find that because the size is so compact, it's just so easy. It's truly one of the most versatile bags out there. I also chose the Gabrielle as my second, which is pretty high up there if you think about it. Again, it's just personal preference. I feel that the Gabrielle bag just really works for my aesthetics. I find that it also works with, no matter what I wear, I find that it pretty much works with every outfit. It's probably a little less dressy than the mini flap. I feel like with the mini flap you can go to a wedding with. You can still do it with the Gabrielle, especially with the mini size. But regardless, I just really like the style. I find that it's a little bit edgy, which the mini flap is less of. I know it's not for everyone, but it is for me, so that's why I put it on the number 2 on my list. I truly just love the style of the bag. I feel like the coco handle is just a really well-rounded classic design, even though it's also a seasonal piece. I love that you can detach the chain and use it as a handheld bag, which just gives you a different vibe. It's definitely the more dressy vibe. And I feel like, you know, just these 3 bags alone will probably satisfy my cravings for a brand new Chanel collection if I were to start from scratch, because I have something that will go with everything, absolutely everything. I have something that's a little bit more edgy, and I have something that's a little bit more dainty and more feminine. Why not the jumbo flap then? And that's because at the current retail, you cannot buy the single flap, which is exactly the reason why I bought mine pre-loved. But if I can only choose retail, then I would go for a medium large, because I know for a fact that the jumbo double flap is way too heavy. And in fact, the size just looks more bulky. Like, it just looks like width-wise, it's just a little bit more bulky, whereas the single flap is slimmer, is more pointed, and it's not as heavy, which I prefer. I think in the past, most people go for the jumbo just because it just feels like you get more bag for your money, and it's not really that big of a price difference. That mentality is definitely no longer with me at this time in my life, because I know personally that I prefer smaller bags for a reason. Is because I just reach for them more. It doesn't matter that I get more bags for my money. If I chose a bigger bag, I don't reach for it, and therefore it's mute. It's not relevant for me at all. So that's why for me, if I were to choose a 4th bag, I would go with the medium large. Next question by Stephanie Hoffman. As a first-time mom, I'm due in May. Congratulations. Which LV bag would you recommend? I sold my Pochette Métis and Speedy B25 in monogram, also due to non-use. I was curious of your opinion. I love your Neverfull World Tool, by the way. For me, the Neverfull is a no-brainer. I just feel like the Neverfull, especially in the MM size, not only can you use it as a mommy bag, so not necessarily a diaper bag, but at least you can use it as a mommy bag where you put your own things in and a few things for your baby. The size accommodates a lot, and yes, it is open, but there is a really big advantage to having an open bag for mommies, in my opinion, or just for me even, because like I just like, for a larger bag, I just like it being more open in a sense that I see everything at a glance, and also I can throw everything really quickly. And I feel like as a mommy, that's what you need to do sometimes. You're always juggling and hustling, and sometimes you don't have time to think about organizing and just be able to throw things in it. And that's what I like about the Neverfull, and I feel like it would work really well, especially if you don't mind an open bag. The second bag that comes to mind is also a bag that I have tried myself and was on the verge of buying, but I decided not to, because I told myself no more large bags, especially because I don't reach for them very much, even though I love the style. And it is the Neo Noe. So the Neo Noe is just a bucket bag, but it's the brand new style. And the reason why I like it is because I like that it has 2 different compartments. In fact, was there 2 or 3? I actually don't remember now, but at least 2. And it's semi-open, but not as open as the Neverfull. So if you're not super comfortable with the Neverfull being as open, then I feel like the Neo Noe, you can still, you know, toss things in there really quickly, but at least it won't be as opened. Of course, you can also change up the strap. With the existing strap, you can also make it into a crossbody. I know that it's super long, so it might not be suitable for everyone anyways. And plus, I don't know how I feel about a super long strap on a shape that's more a bucket that's still pretty large. But at the very least, you can buy other kinds of straps to put in it, so you're not limited to the existing strap. That's what I mean, and that's why I also like the bag a lot. I've tried it with, you know, one of their guitar straps, and I think it works really well together. I feel like those 2 would be great options. If those of you who are mommies out there with little children, which bags do you use? That is a luxury handbag from LV. Let us know down below in the comments section. The next question is by Nina Law. Hi Amy, thank you for your honest and detailed review of the Chanel Gabrielle Small Hobo. I'm 155 centimeters tall. Do you think that I would look okay with the medium-sized hobo? I know that it will accommodate a lot more content. What do you think? I'm a little bit taller than you, I think by at least 2 or 3 inches, I think. Anyway, I'm 162, 163 centimeters, basically 5 feet 4 inches tall. Honestly speaking, I feel like the medium size hobo is a little bit too overwhelming for someone our height or lower. And even if you were a lot taller than me, if you have a very slender body, like if you're really skinny, I feel like even the medium size would probably overwhelm you a little bit. Not necessarily as much as it would overwhelm us, because we're definitely a lot shorter, but it really just depends on the proportions of your body. Many of us are of similar height, we're still made differently. Some of us are thicker, some of us are even more slender, so it really just depends on your body as well, your body composition and your overall stature. Of course, in the end, choose whatever makes your heart sing, and also choose whatever will fit your lifestyle more. Small size hobo is not for everyone because it doesn't really, I mean, it just fits a little bit more than the mini flap. My good friend here on YouTube, Kat L, she has the medium size and she loves hers, but even she finds it a little bit overwhelming sometimes. It definitely fits way more than the small size. The medium size apparently fits more than the classic jumbo flaps. I just want you to think about whether you want that bag in that size for a particular reason, and if you care more about that reason. But if you care more about aesthetically looking, how it looks best on you for your stature, then maybe think about the smaller size, because I do think that the smaller size is much cuter, and I do think that it's for me, it brings me a lot more joy. If I bought the medium, I would probably never use it. The next question is by Tiffany Lay. I was wondering, what is your opinion on the functionality of the LV Pallas versus the Surene I don't own these two bags, but I did look them up on their website. So the Pallas, I actually did try that bag many years ago when it first came out, and I remember that it really caught my eye because I guess at the time I was such a super fan of LV. I just wanted to get anything new that comes out. So what I remember not liking about that bag at the time was the sharper corners for wear and tear, just in general for that, and how I felt like after you put in a lot of stuff in it, it starts to sag a little bit on the bottom. I like bags that have not only a top handle but also a strap that you can, you know, put it on your shoulder or crossbody. I'm pretty sure I can crossbody that bag, correct me if I'm wrong, but and I also like the shape of it. I like also that you have a more secure compartment right in the middle, but two slip pockets on the side where you can put your phone and like maybe your bus pass or something like that. That's super slim and very easy access. So I like that about the bag. Compared to the surene which I never saw that bag in person, so on the website that's what I can judge it from. My first impression of the bag is that it's super nice. I don't know, there's something about it. I think there's also because there's a model that's holding it on the website, and I feel like the chains and just the shape of the bag all together just makes it look super nice. Just like how I like the Neverfull more, like how I can toss things in very quickly. I feel like that's something you can do with that bag. It doesn't look like it would sag like the Pallas would. But then again, I don't own either bag, so I don't really know for sure. I don't know, maybe I'll go with the Pallas just because I like having both options. That's probably why I would go with the Pallas. Hi Amy, do you still love your Dior earrings? I have two pairs of Dior earrings and they're asymmetrical. The answer is yes, I still love my Dior earrings. I feel like Dior has a different vibe, and the vibe is just like that cool girl, whereas Chanel gives me more of a classic vibe. So that's why I like the Dior earrings. I feel like they give me a different vibe, and sometimes that's what I want when I dress up or style in a different way. Now, having said that, I have noticed that I prefer wearing my Chanel earrings, and I know that you didn't ask that, but I'm just saying that just as an FYI. I prefer wearing my Chanel earrings because the posts on the Chanel earrings are a lot more comfortable. The ones on the Dior, as well as all Dior earrings, including the one with the pearl, what is that one called? I forgot the name right now, but anyway, all the Dior earrings that I have, the post is just slightly, like a smidge thicker. Next question by Naz Beauty. Hi Amy, can you recommend any ways on how you sell your handbags in Vancouver. I feel like I've gotten this question quite often, not necessarily just to sell locally in Vancouver, but just in general. And I think I've talked about it in several of my different Q&As and even like just here and there. Honestly guys, right now I don't really sell much. I don't know if you've noticed it, even on my video where I talked about my least and most worn items, at least including the ones that I sold. There's only really a handful of things that I sold. In terms of handbag, there was only 2 handbags that I sold last year, which I guess, you know, I'm not saying that I'm proud of it, but it's just I don't really sell that much. And the reason is because I'm really getting to know myself a lot more, and that I don't buy things that I feel like I would regret. And if I do, then of course I sell it, right? I'm not gonna dwell on it, I'm just gonna sell it. The places that I actually recommend selling, especially if you're not really doing a lot of selling, is just through the Facebook group, and that's exactly what I do. So the main one is called the Ritzy Chanel something group, and I'll try to link it down below if I remember. If not, just remind me. I've talked about that also in my buying pre-loved versus buying retail video. I've also talked about that group, and I also linked it on that video, so you guys can rewatch that if you like. Really, essentially, I find that the Facebook groups are the best ways to do it. In fact, for Vancouver, there's a local one as well. And it's possible that for wherever you live, there's a local Facebook group as well. You just have to be a little bit more creative and look it up. Just go onto Facebook and type it on the search bar to see if there's any local groups. If I'm not trying to sell locally, then I will post it on my Instagram. And you guys, if you haven't followed me there, you can follow me there as well. I have 2 different Instagrams. So my main one where I post just outfits and, you know, what is going on, but my second Instagram is where I post all the things that I'm letting go of. And so it's just called Fashionably Amy's Closet, and it's always linked down below in the description box. Of course, selling by yourself, you're more likely to be able to give a better price to the buyer, but not only that, you also get a little bit more money yourself as a seller. But really, if you don't have time, then of course the next best thing is consignment. A local one that I have used here in Vancouver, I forget her name now, I think she's called Vancouver Luxury. I'll try to link her down below. So I have used her, and with her it's a little different. You have to meet her in person, and she'll take your bag in her possession, and once it's sold, then she'll pay you. So you have to have a level of confidence, I guess. But it was recommended to me by a friend, and she's used her several times selling her Chanel bags, so I was comfortable using her. I've only used her once. She probably doesn't even know that I'm talking about her, but since you've asked, then that's why I'm telling you guys. So if you're in the Vancouver area and you don't have time to sell your own bags, and you don't mind paying someone else a commission to sell your bags, then you can definitely reach out to her and see if you want to do it that way. If you do reach out to her, let her know that I sent you there. I don't get anything from it. Next question by Judith Lee. I love the mini coco handle. How do you feel about the potential color transfer on such a light gray color bag? The advantage that this bag has over most other bags is that this one has a little top handle, and the fact that it has a little top handle, I'll most likely just carry it more on the hands as well. And this is something that I've noticed myself do a lot with my peekaboo as well as my canai. My canai is also a lighter color bag, and that one I haven't had any color transfer either, and I think it's partially because I hold it by hand, and I do it not as consciously as you would think, because I want to be able to use my bags freely. That's how I want my collection to be, but at the same time, I feel like if the style permits me to handheld it, I actually really do like hand holding my bags, as long as they're not so heavy. So with me, the peekaboo being it's a mini size, and I can't really load it up that much anyway. I find that it's a super handy bag to use handheld. That's probably the biggest size that I would go for a mini bag handheld. And similarly with the canai, it's actually quite lightweight, especially if I pretty much put whatever I put in the peekaboo as well. So with this one, I foresee myself hand holding it a lot because it's a mini size as well, and it can't be that heavy. And once in a while I'll use the shoulder strap because we all need to go hands-free sometimes. And so that's the one thing that I know that this bag has gone has an advantage for me in terms of preventing color transfers. Not so much that the material is not prone to transfer. I'm sure it is because it's a light color, it's bound to happen. But I think because of the handles, then it's less likely so because I will be able to just hand hold it, which I know I do. 2 more questions before the end of this Q&A. Nikki Baby, why do you choose the Coco handle rather than the trendy CC? Very simple answer, it's just the price. And also, I've never actually really looked at the trendy CC in person. It's possible that in the future I might look into adding the trendy CC. I just feel like I like that kind of bag, and you guys probably know by now that I like having a top handle plus a chain of some sort. Actually, I'm curious, those of you who do own the trendy CC, please let me know down below your comments about it. And if you also own a Coco handle, let me know the difference between the two, which one you prefer and why. Hi Amy, have you noticed any corner wear on your Palm Springs Mini? The patterns are wearing off in the corner even though I gently use it for a few months. Something about this canvas and printing method, it does not seem to last very long. I've never even looked at the corners because it never even occurred to me that it might be an issue. So I'm gonna look at it right now, including the little corners here on the little pocket. It looks completely fine, I think. If you're referring to the print, because I know you talked about print or the pattern, I mean, perhaps this corner with where the flower is supposed to be has rubbed off very, very slightly. Actually, maybe very slightly on the other side too. So I'll try to show you on camera. I don't know if it'll even show. Are you talking about like here where the light brown is supposed to be more, but it's not? Because aside from that, it doesn't look like, to me it looks normal only because it is a corner, and honestly speaking, any bags that have sharper corners, and I'm especially referring to the Coco handle because I'm super aware of that, is prone to more wear. Honestly, it doesn't bother me, and I guess I would consider that a normal wear and tear. And I know that you mentioned only a few months. I think some things are acceptable, especially in this case. I find that it's acceptable if that's what you're referring to, as long as it's not an actual crack or it's not an actual hole. I don't know if maybe there's a batch where the silk screen is terrible. I don't know, but from what I am seeing on my bag, it doesn't look like it's abnormal. Let me know your feedback down below on some of the things that I asked you guys about as well. If you're wondering about what I'm wearing, because I'm totally crazy about the top, this is by Self Portrait, which I bought recently. In fact, I did a little bit of damage on some ready to wear, but I bought mostly things that I cannot wear right away. It's not even the right season. It's just that I always try to take advantage of the end of season sales. So January is definitely a great time to buy stuff that is not gonna work for the current season, but everything is on sale. So I bought quite a few things, well, mostly from Self Portrait. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in a haul video, even though they may not necessarily be current. Like, I mean, I guess it's spring is coming, I suppose, so I guess that's something. But let me know down below if you would like to see a haul video. Those of you who just joined my channel very recently, thank you so much. I hope that you'll continue spreading the word, especially if you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget the thumbs up, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.